Alongside Bernard Hopkins, I'm Bernardo Osuna. He is Daniel Perales, who just turned 25 on March 16th. He's got a record of 10-8-1 with 5 knockouts. He comes by way of Monterrey, Mexico. And he is 4-6 with 3 knockouts in his last 10 fights. But 5 of his last 6 losses have been by way of knockout. So a fighter who's really coming in here looking to redeem himself and make a name for himself. Made his pro debut in December of 2011. Now his opponent is one of Robert Garcia and Golden Boy Promotions' most prized prospects, Hector Tanajara Jr. He is a fighter who opted to turn pro instead of look for the Olympic route. And there you see Robert Grandpa Garcia, the former junior lightweight champion of the world, who's become a great trainer in his own right. And Tanajara Jr., B-Hop, he's got a great mentor in Mikey Garcia.
Oh, absolutely. He has definitely a great mentor. And when you're at that age and coming up in a career like he's coming up in, you need those type of experienced people around you.
They call him El Finito. I'll tell you why as the fight progresses, as we're now ready to have the 2 fighters presented by Joe Martinez.
And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Our next bout tonight, 6 rounds. This scheduled in the lightweight division. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner. Wearing black trunks trimmed in gold, he weighed officially 135.5 pounds. In 19 professional bouts, his record stands at 10 victories, 8 defeats, 1 draw, and 5 wins coming by way of knockout. Presentando de Monterrey, Mexico, Daniel Perales. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner. Wears tonight gold with black. He weighed in 130 pounds even. In 7 professional bouts, he stands perfect with 7 victories, no defeats, 4 wins coming by way of knockout. From San Antonio, Texas, here is the undefeated El Finito, Hector Tanajara Jr. And your referee in charge of the action, Eddie Hernandez.
All right, Chief, seconds only. Chief, seconds only. Mouthpiece. Mouthpiece. All right, we're going to go right here with your trunks. Your trunks are very high, so we're going to go about right here. Gentlemen, I've been over the rules with you both. You're both professionals. I expect you to conduct yourself as professionals. Touch gloves. Good luck.
There you have the instructions, and Hector Tanajara Jr. is a great prospect, and we're very happy, Bernard Hopkins, to now introduce the 3rd member of this broadcast team, which is our very own Teddy Atlas. So they call him El Finito, Teddy, because he's a great fan of Ricardo Finito Lopez. There are worse fighters you could choose to model your style after.
And there's worse fighters that I could hang out with than Bernard Hopkins, too. I'm in good company here, and I'm glad you made a little room for me. Thank you.
Always, Teddy. There's always room at this table for you and the legend Bernard Hopkins. And Hector Tanajara Jr., I mean, when Robert Garcia has such high praise for one of his young prospects, what does that tell you, B-Hop?
You better pay attention. You better pay attention because he has definitely a good eye. You're all respected in the boxing game. And if he says what he said, then you have to pay attention.
I'll tell you someone who hasn't been paying attention. Whoever was in charge of allowing these guys with the trunks, they were not paying attention. You cannot put 2 Hispanic fighters in the ring, both with gold and black trunks. I was confused. I'm looking at my sheets. I said, okay, black and gold, Tanajara. All right, Perales, what's he in? Oh, he's in black and gold too.
It's only the shoes that differentiate these 2 fighters. The black shoes are for Tanajara. The white shoes with blue trim are for Daniel Perales, who just turned 25 on March 16th. But you're right. You know, that's why back in the black and white days, there was one guy wearing black trunks with white trim, one guy wearing white trunks with black trim. It's that simple.
Well, I'm going with Daniel's cup is a little higher than you know. He's wearing that cup protecting those ribs, Teddy.
Yes, sir. And also you got one guy with red tape and one with blue tape, so that helps. that helps a guy like me a little bit.
All right, you want to go even further? Tattoos. Perales has tattoos so far. The guy with the 2-1-0, which represents San Antonio, Texas, is Hector Tanajara as he looks to land that right hand. Tanajara likes to use his distance, Eddie. He's a fighter who wants to box and counterpunch.
Yeah, most of his fights been in California. Former national amateur champion. 20-year-old, 7-0 prospect, in with a 10-8-1 opponent who's been knocked out 5 times. I would say the expectation is for him not only to win, but his people have put him in a position to win by knockout.
And there you saw exactly what B-Hop was saying. Why that cup, that protective cup, is so high, because they saw that Tanajara works well to the body.
Oh, absolutely, he works right. Just threw a left hook that went right on the cup. So that helps only for a couple of rounds until you get the punching through that. And as that right hand comes straight down or uppercut, left hook, I mean, these things, they're going to come in rapid fire eventually.
Yeah, but you know what? We're missing the most important point here, guys. You know, you need people to be good at everything. Hopefully we're good at what we do. Hopefully the trainers are good getting their fighters ready. And the referee should not allow that cup to be that high.
Yep. But it's always about gamesmanship. If they allow it, you're going to push the envelope.
I'm not blaming the fighter. I'm talking about the people who are in charge of
the commission and whatnot. All right, round 1 comes to an end. Tanajara undefeated so far as we go to time.
Born bold.
Perales' corner is saying he doesn't work well moving to his right. But the one thing that works for him very well, Teddy, is protecting the body with that high protective cup. Let's take a look at that, Teddy, and explain why that helps him so much.
Well, right there, you can see, right here, you can see how high this is. It should be down around here, and it's up around here. So obviously anything he throws, he's going to be protected in here.
Only way to get around that, B-Hop, is to curve around there and work the liver with the left hook.
Well, yeah, you can do that, but also you can also just make sure that, you know, you keep the punches up.
Oh, it's Tanajara who goes down, product of a counter left hook. First time he's been down in his career, and here we have to see how the young man recovers from this punch. Unexpected here in round number 2, an early knockdown for Monterrey's Daniel Perales, who's going to go in, and the legs, B-Hop, they're wobbly.
The legs are wobbly, and, you know, even though Teddy said, you know, the matchup was not actually a matchup that looked like it was going to be a competitive fight. He didn't say that precise, but you never underestimate anybody. Everybody has a chance. You just seen a short left hook right out of a clinch. And listen, you got to protect yourself at all times and take no one for granted.
Yeah, one of the elements at play here, though, as you try to point a finger at me, Bernard, and I don't mind, I got it, but it's very possible that Tanajara overlooked, and that's one of the problems. You're bringing these young kids up, and they expect to be handed a soft menu. They expect to get a soft diet of opponents. He's had a soft diet of opponents. He's had 4 first-round knockouts with guys that were like 3-19-1. His last opponent, who he went 4 rounds with, and all of a sudden you get a guy in there who has been knocked out 5 times, but a guy with experience, and next thing you know, you're not prepared.
He's fought only 19 rounds in this is 8 bout compared to 87 rounds in 20 professional bouts for Perales. We see a headbutt here, no damage done, but yes, the numbers don't tell the story. That 10-8-1, they're not all taxi drivers sometimes that he's been facing, so he shows a little bit pop, gives us something to talk about, as now Finito B-Hop seems to be recovered.
Well, he is, slightly, but, you know, he's been hurt, and that's still in his mind until the corner gets to him and talk to him and maybe, you know, shake it off. But now we better see what he's made of. We better see, can he recover at a young...
Teddy, about 40 seconds left. What would you be telling Tanajara in the corner? He's a young guy, never been down, great amateur pedigree. How do you get him back on track?
Hey, welcome to the big league, buddy. We've prepared for this. You know, it's all about, you want to be a champion, you have to overcome things. Overcome this. Champions overcome these things all the time. You're going to be a future champion. You deal with it. We talk about being a professional in the gym all the time. Here's your opportunity to be a pro. Put that in the back mirror and go do the things we worked on doing. And obviously correct the reason you got caught. Get that right hand up.
All right, round 2. 5 seconds left, and an eventful round for Hector Tanajara Jr., who visits the canvas for the first time in his career. There's gonna be a lot to look at, Teddy. What mistakes were made and why he ended up on the canvas. Thanks to this kid, a 25-year-old who's showing pop.
Well, right here, you can see through the right uppercut, exposed himself a little bit. A little late getting it back, and the left hook got there first. Let's take another look here. Tanajara's going to throw that right uppercut. Doesn't get it back quite fast enough. And he gets caught with that left hook. Take another look right here. He throws the right uppercut. A little bit far away when he throws it. Experienced Perales comes right back with that left hook.
The intention was there, but he just couldn't get it back quick enough, as Teddy said. And one of the things that Robert Garcia said, B-Hop, is that he's got polished skills, but he needs to gain confidence of an experienced fighter. Robert Garcia here telling him it happens to everybody. How does he overcome this?
Well, listen, Perales threw a nice timing left hook, but he got to overcome it with the jab to start off with, like he just did, but he got to be more effective. And, you know, Teddy was right about that. He has to now do those things that Teddy just mentioned and be able to get back in the fight. Welcome to the big leagues, because this is what boxing is. Boxing is the big league, and if you want to be in the big dog world, this is what you got to do.
He's got enough time to recover, and a low blow there from Hector Tanajara Jr. As the referee says, I didn't see the low blow, so he doesn't give him the 5 minutes to recover, but he's got 3 more rounds to recover, Teddy. You don't want him to try to get it all back in one round, do you?
No, of course not. You make mistakes then. You know, you want to get over anxious, look for one punch, look for the big punch, look for the home run. You know, like in baseball, you still want to make contact, you want to have a good swing. You know, you want the game to come to you. You don't want to force the game. You don't want to chase after something. You want to do the things you were taught to do. Right now, you want to pay attention to your physical attribute advantage. You're taller, you're longer. Stay on the outside. Bernard touched on it. Stay on the outside. Use your jab. You know, and then start to create opportunities where you make the shorter man make mistakes. You capitalize, maybe a little counterpunching. If he stays out, you do that. You get your shots off, you get good extension on your punches. You don't give up your height. You don't get into the geometry of the ring, the geography, I should say, of the ring, where you're going to allow the shorter Perales to be able to be effective. For him to be effective, he needs to be close. So it's pretty simple. Keep him at a distance.
One of the things that we talked about prior to the fight was the fact that Tanajara Jr. likes to use the entire round. Something that we've seen twice is low blows to Daniel Perales that the referee is just not having, B-Hop. How does that affect you in terms of psychology when you're Perales saying, hey, they're letting this guy go?
Well, listen, Perales is using the high cup, the cup being high as a floor. He's trying to use it to distract what's really happening to him by injecting the referee into it to make him, you know, to make the referee give him a break or maybe give some time out to actually gather himself. Because right now, you know, he's on the catch side of it, you know, receiving. And so now what he's trying to do is reset, and his eyes swollen on the left side, if you see it. He just got hit with a straight right hand. And right now it's starting to be difficult because he's not inside. He's outside, and that's not his fight. That's not Daniel's fight outside. His fight is inside. His fight is in like this.
Tanajara using the jab, using his distance, connecting with lead rights.
Bernardo, you asked the right guy about, you know, low blows. Bernardo would know a little bit something about that.
I didn't see the target.
A little bit of a history with that. You understand?
All right, this is going to be testy. I'm loving it. This round is going to come to end. We're at the halfway point on ESPN 3.
Dear Journal, today I learned many great things. 1. Old Spice Sweat Defense gives me 48 hours sweat protection. 2. Gorillas have strong muscles and do not speak English.
tomorrow? Arby's, we have the meat.
All right, so Hector Tanajara Jr. got off the canvas in round 2, was really hurt, but he seems to have recovered. Now we're in round 4 of a 6-round bout.
Let him go, let him go.
And Teddy's worked his way back into this fight
step back.
based on what he does well.
Let him go.
Yeah, and that's what he's supposed to do. You know, one of the things that you're trying to do, Bernard can attest to this, as a young fighter, is you're trying to teach him, and as a trainer, of course, Robert Garcia, former world champion, does a good job. You're trying to get a fighter, young fighter, to know his identity, know who he is, know what he is inside that squared circle. You know, am I a guy who boxes on the outside, looks for counter? Am I a guy that presses the envelope, pushes forward? What am I? And this is an opportunity for him to be minded. Hey, you're not a go seek and destroy guy. You're a guy who's young, you're still learning, you're still a little wet behind the ears, but you're tall, you're long, you're supposed to box, you're supposed to make your opponent create mistakes or force him to create mistakes, and you're supposed to control distance, control range. And that starts with the jab, one of the most basic things there are. And right now, you can see he's settling in, understanding, hey, I don't have to go get the guy. I have to do the things that make sense for me. And he's starting to show you that right now.
But nonetheless, he's still making that one mistake of leaving that right hand out when he throws it. But when you leave it out like that and you connect properly, B-Hop, that's a whole different story.
Hector Jr. just threw a good right hand, and listen, and now he took it. He took the punch well, and he has good chin. But let me tell you, Hector Jr. is learning now
Step back.
how to be a professional. How to be a professional and experience. And that's what he's learning by getting off the canvas. Teddy mentioned earlier, this is what you got to do. You have to know yourself. You find yourself by going through these trials and tribulations.
You know, Golden Boy said in this series they're going to be competitive and our young fighters are going to be put to the test. And that's exactly what happened to Tanajara Jr. If you were fooled by Perales' record, well, his left hand just showed you that anything can happen inside the ring as Tanajara Jr. tries to settle in. And now combining the left with the right.
Let him go.
And let's not forget, look, it was a rough start for Tanajara, but it's a 6-round fight. And let's not forget, from the beginning, who had the advantage. It goes back to Tanajara, and I'll tell you why, because he's not the guy who came in overweight. Perales came in 4.5 pounds overweight. Tanajara came in the lightest of his career. Perales came in the heaviest of his career. Conditioning is going to play. Bernard can tell you that. Conditioning can play a little bit. And you know what? It's starting to show right now.
The work to the body, the right hands to the head, and now Tanajara starts to find his target, B-Hop.
You don't want to take body shots if you had to cut weight. You don't want to take body shots if you had to cut weight.
Let go.
You know, I don't think you want to take body shots no matter what.
At all.
Especially from me.
Yeah, ask Oscar, my man. Round 4 of 6 comes to an end here at Fantasy Springs.
To the untrained, it appears as chaos. But here, there is only mastery. A creation so complex, only few can reveal it. Through mastery comes harmony. Hennessy VSOP privilege. Never stop. Never settle.
Yo soy el mejor boxeador en este momento. Lo voy a noquear para callarle la boca.
Round 5 of 6 between Hector Tanajara Jr., the undefeated prospect out of San Antonio, Texas, taking on Daniel Perales out of Monterrey, Mexico. Nice right hand. Now we're seeing what Hector Tanajara is all about. Now he's getting on the offensive end, Teddy.
Yeah, but again, listen, I had to be the party pooper here. And I'm not being a party pooper. I give more credit. I go to Bernard what he said. At the end of the day, Tanajara is going to be a better fighter for this because of what he's learned. That he picked himself up off the canvas. He learned what it takes to be a champion. If he's going to be one, that's what it takes. And to be a pro, to behave like a pro, to forget what happened, put it aside, and go out there and do what you have to do. And all those lessons are in play. But let's not forget what I said early on. There's a reason why I said it. Perales is here as an opponent, and he's starting to look like an opponent now. And again, a lot of people say, hey, Teddy, but he knocked him down, he did this, he did that. Yeah, I get all that. But now, he made a mistake, the 20-year-old kid, he's corrected it, and now you see all the advantages he has over a guy that's been knocked out 5 times and a guy who has a 10-8-1 record. And I'm taking nothing away from that guy, Perales.
Push
He's
his
been
head
game
down,
all
okay?
night.
Let's go.
But
Box.
he's on the losing side of the last 4 rounds.
Now he's taking advantage of being overweight at the weigh-in. He's taking advantage of the protective cup being high. He's using everything that you'd expect from an experienced fighter. But B-Hop, this is a good, experienced fight for Tanajara Jr.
Let him go.
It is for Tanajara Jr. And you know, one thing is you gotta look at the advantage and the disadvantage that both guys have, because even though Perales came in late or came in overweight, he's still got a nice pop in his left hook, and if he gets it off, he can do some damage. But I think he's settling into his role now. I think he's, like Teddy mentioned earlier, and he's right, he seems to be staying back, waiting to receive and then hit. And if he can do that, he's going to get picked apart.
The tide finds
That's
its
a good
level.
point what Bernard just said. You know, I was talking about Tanajara early. One of the things as a trainer, your responsibility is to help him find his identity, his ID. What is he? What is he? And Perales, unfortunately, already knows his identity. For the most part, he's an opponent. And I'm not knocking them. Anyone who can get in that ring and do what they do, they deserve a lot of credit. But there's guys that have a career like Tanajara has in front of him, and a guy like Perales is a guy that takes fights in other people's territory, you know, on short notice, and that's why he's got a 10-8-1 record.
But boxing gives you those moments like we had in round 2, and then when the fighter really asserts what his qualities are in the ring, we see Tanajara taking over thereafter as round number 5 comes to an end. Tanajara looking to maintain his undefeated record here at Fantasy Springs Casino.
Born bold. To the untrained, it appears as chaos. But here, there is only mastery. A creation so complex, only few can reveal it. Through mastery comes harmony. Hennessy VSOP privilege. Never stop. Never settle.
Hector Tanajara reaches the 6th round for the 2nd time in his 8-fight professional career. He's been past 4 rounds now for the 4th time, so this is not unknown territory, but maybe one that we didn't really expect him to be at, Teddy, in this particular fight.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Maybe we didn't expect him to be here in round 6 against Perales with the weight issues.
No, I make no argument about it. I make no hiding about it. You know, we're honest people here. You know, I thought, and listen, it might be a little knock on Tanajara. You know, he's only 20 years old. He's one of those guys that's going to need more 6-rounders before he gets to the 8. He's going to need more development. There's some guys that come out of the amateurs, you know, with so many fights out of the amateurs, they don't need quite that much development. You know, they got 200, 300 amateur fights. They fought internationally. They don't need as much development. Tanajara, at 20 years old, he doesn't come with quite that kind of amateur resume. He needs more development. I thought that he would need to knock out Perales for me to say, whoa. And that doesn't mean I'm not saying, oh. I'm just not saying, whoa.
It's missing one letter.
That's all. And again, it kind of reminds his people who are in charge of his career that, hey, we do have a young guy. We do have to give him enough time to develop. He's not a guy ready to step up there too quick. Guys like De La Hoya, those kind of guys, when they came out of the amateurs with a gold medal and all that amateur experience, he was fighting good fighters after 8 fights, 9 fights. I mean, really good fighters. But he had that kind of background. This kid, you have to develop him. a little bit in a different way.
125
And it
amateur
reminds
bouts.
you, it reminds
Step back, step
people
back, stop,
of
stop,
that.
let him go.
Right,
let him go,
115
let him go.
Let's not forget.
115 wins, but he beat Carlos Balderas, who was an Olympian, but also lost to him twice. Lost to Antonio Vargas and Nico Hernandez, who were also
Yeah, but you know what I'm
Olympians.
looking at? I'm looking at his body, but not looking at
Body.
the same thing.
That's the
He
body.
doesn't have that man body yet. You know, he hasn't got that physicality to him yet. So you got to give him a little time to get that.
The man strength. What
And-
changes?
and-
Because he's facing a man tonight.
Well, you can see it was changes because, listen, Hector Jr. is throwing a really good right hand and is not even moving Perales. So when you grow into that man strength and you grow into that development mind-wise, you just do a right uppercut.
He landed and wobbled it.
Stop, let him go, let him go, let him go, let him go. Stop,
You
let go,
grow
let
into
go.
your whole package of a complete fighter. And you can see he has all the makings of it, but it's going to take time. It's going to take time. It's going to take rounds. It's going to take the quality fights.
He's got a great mentor in Mikey Garcia who he spars, and that's the good work he's going to continue to put in and maybe start finishing guys like Daniel Perales, who just turned 25 on March 16th. Gave him a heck of a war here on ESPN3 as a collaboration between Golden Boy Promotions and ESPN starts at Fantasy Springs Casino. Will go to the decision in just a few moments, and we'll see if Hector Tanajara kept his unblemished record despite having to get up off the canvas, and that was maybe his best punch. A nice uppercut as we go to break.
The end of civilization is upon us. Hold your loved ones close.
It's another pure gray morning. Don't know what the day is holding. And I get up right when I walk right into the path of a lightning bolt. Got it to the line, they won the war, and not the one. But when I see the signs, I'll jump on that lightning bolt.
All right, we welcome you back to the Fantasy Springs Casino here in Indio, California. Just awaiting the final decision here between Hector Tanajara Jr. and Daniel Perales. He had to survive a knockdown in round 2. Was it enough to come away with the upset? We go now to Joe Martinez with the decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 6 rounds, we go to the scorecards. All 3 judges have it 58-55. Your winner by unanimous decision and still undefeated El Finito, Hector Tanajara Jr.
So the knockdown in round 2 obviously was the only points that Daniel Perales took in this fight as Hector Tanajara Jr. improves to 8. And it's been a pleasure